So, Ed, were you referring to like there was something about wanting to change the street names in Hong Kong to get rid of like the
decolonialize Hong Kong?
Colonialized, yeah. And also, well, they want to replace also the court system, right? Right now they're wearing a wig. I think that should be taken away soon. I mean, there are, and also right now the I don't know whether you read it. The former chair of the Bar Association, Hong Kong bars, meaning the barristers, not going to a pub bar, right? Hong Kong Bar Association. He was being questioned. That was just earlier part of this year. Yeah, he was defending Jimmy Lai, and then he was being questioned inside the NSL police office, right? And in the evening, same day he left with his family. So it's like threatening people who want to represent Jimmy. So, yeah, decolonize. So changing street names, no more, I don't know, the Eckler Street. I think that could be pretty British. Queen Street, I don't know, change it to...
well, now you have to change it to King Street.
Well, yeah. Now you have to change it to Xi Jinping Street.
Yeah.
So Emperor Street.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of symbols, was it last year or the year before? I'm kind of forgetting now that a lot of the universities in Hong Kong just suddenly took down all of their like Tiananmen Square Massacre commemoration statues and, right. Art and anything that was about the June 4th massacre, like all of it disappeared almost overnight.
Right. Isn't it crazy? I mean, like Hong Kong equals China now. Like I don't want to say that because last time when we were still talking inside of Hong Kong, we were still like students were still fighting. And to me, as I said, I'm a strong defender in the 1.0 model, one country, two systems. And definitely, and I agree with you, Matt, that maybe we shouldn't even think about the two systems exist. But what can we do like overseas if we don't defend the two systems? I mean, should I promote like Hong Kong independence? If I promote, let's say, if everyone promote Hong Kong independence, then that's another problem, because I think most people, the common denominator, if you believe it, it's everyone should condemn they are not following the implementation of the two systems instead of saying Hong Kong independence. Because I find it odd because some people say that you should build up a military to fight the CCP because it's not what we get, right? But then with all the people leaving, let's say we have 7 million people, and then if half of the 7 million ended up overseas in the next 25 years, what are we fighting? They change all the street names, the buildings, they rebuild it, right? They take out the crosses, and then it could be another Xi Jinping and all that, right? But what are we fighting if Hong Kong is after, or we want to reclaim Hong Kong? It depends on how soon we can make Hong Kong be like the same old Hong Kong like before. But then again, it takes another 30 years. And when I take a look at Tibet, it's already 60 some odd years. His Holiness the Dalai Lama still cannot visit Tibet. So it's more than just say yes or no, or how to gain back the old glory. It's something I have to think about very deeply. And also what I am doing over the last year and a half, it's I'm still telling the old Hong Kong story and telling people that they are all innocent. Those behind it, me, these are partial names of the NSL detainees, not just the famous ones like Jimmy Lai or Joshua, but some of the other people too. At least they should be released and make sense and talk. I mean, the Hong Kong government, they don't listen to anyone now. They just want to score in front of Beijing, score brownie points, but it's useless. Definitely, everyone is fearful of the Hong Kong government now.
I wanted to ask you about this, Ed, because in addition to really being very knowledgeable about like the economic side of Hong Kong, you've been involved in Hong Kong Civic Society for so long with your 24/7 Hong Kong Monitor and just keeping an eye on what's happening there. How do you see this going down with civil society in Hong Kong? Is there still space for civil society?
No, everything is dismantled now. All the groups, even like, well, there would be only like the pro Beijing group, and most of the people that you might have interviewed or talked to, they have left for the UK. The former department head of the Hong Kong University law department, right? Johannes Chen, he is now in the UK. So these are not the activists. These are like the very mild people with a liberal way of thinking. And then the Occupy trio, I think Chen Kin-man, not Benny Tai. He is in Taiwan now. Same as the minister. I think he is no longer in Hong Kong, stepping away from politics. And even if for those who are released, like Leung Tin K, who is more really pro independence, the fishbowl revolution of 2016, right? He was jailed for like 5-6 years. After he's released, no news. I don't know whether he's in Hong Kong or the condition is that he cannot talk to public, but he kind of disappeared from the limelight. Agnes Chow, she's released, no longer in the public eye, so to speak, right? So people keep very quiet. And then I don't see there will be any more protests like rally on July 1st. On the rally on July 1st for the over 20 some odd years, it's just more like a rally. Of course, people do come out and talk about what they like and dislike about the government, right? It's organized by the pro-democracy camp. That would never happen. Tiananmen Vigil would never be able to perform inside Hong Kong again. So is there democracy? Because these are two very big indicators, June 4th and also the July 1st. If they don't exist, that means you can never go back to the same old Hong Kong. And if the NSL detainees, they are not set free, if they have to have this very stiff sentences for, I don't know, like 10 years or more, I mean, Hong Kong is not the same. So just like my pro-establishment camp friend, so to speak, friend says, first move the assets. Just put 5 to 7% of your whatever you have, or even less in Hong Kong if you still want to live there. And then, there's nothing need to really cherish once the city is lost. So we are rebuilding the so-called Hong Kong spirit in these most populated Hong Kong's, where Hong Kong population is. Yeah, in cities like London, Toronto, Vancouver, New York, LA, San Francisco.
So like Tibetans in exile, Hong Kongers in exile.
Yes.
How do you keep that spirit alive?
Well, next year on July 1st to 4th, I should invite you to come to Toronto if we have it hosted in Toronto. We have this World Hong Kong Forum that's kickstarted on June 30th evening until July 4th. It's a 4-day plus 1 evening session because June 30th actually is July 1st, and then Xi Jinping was helping John Lee to swear in as the next chief executive. I think we will organize something like that to the Hong Kong World Hong Kong Forum, and then we connect everyone through the internet. And there's real event happening in Toronto, and I'm just planning for the second year. So it's like the World Economic Forum without putting another better word for it, except that we talk about things that it's important to a lot of Hong Kongers overseas: business, culture, spiritual aspect, and political. These are the four aspects we focus on.
Will you also have dim sum and Hong Kong roast goose?
Of course, there are so many Chinese dim sum places in Toronto. And then, like wherever you are, if you drive up to Canada, it's not that bad of a drive, and then you can still go back to the U.S. to commemorate the Independence Day. So, what a good deal!
Well, let's plan on it. We'll make it a date.
Seriously.